Loud and clear.
All right, perfect. So I think this is a no-brainer. I don't think anybody else has made that strong of a case of taking the first overall kind of spot from Wright. I think, as much as there are questions about whether he has that kind of elite upside that we typically see from first overall picks, at least recently, his defensive game is really strong. He hasn't maybe been tearing up the OHL that we might have expected him, but, he's also been not playing hockey for the last year and a half. So considering that, I think what he's been doing right now in the OHL, even though he hasn't been maybe dominating as some would have expected him to, he's, very consistent. He's got great effort at both ends of the ice. The details of his game, they're so impressive. He's finding those open areas in the offensive zone. He's finding teammates. He's willing to include his teammates on the rush. I don't think there's much debate as to why he should be our number ranked prospect right now.
So I suppose this opens up the debate for number 2 overall, really, right? Like we've got Kamel, we've got Savoy. Is anyone else part of that conversation? And Lassie, do you want to, maybe throw your name in the hat with some Kamel commentary?
Kemal does really have the whole package almost. He's got above average tools in pretty much every category. He's very smart. His shot is really good. He's a pretty good skater overall, above average, maybe 5.5 on our scale or 6. And he's also, I would probably give him the same for handling. I haven't seen dynamic playmaking from him. That's really the only big concern that I have, but it just might be that the circumstances with the team are that he's basically the best option on the ice every time. So, but that's really the only knock that you can have on his game, that he's not that dynamic as a playmaker. Or I know that David doesn't think that he's that dynamic overall, but I do see quite a bit of that in him in other ways. And he's a very good two-way player also.
One of my questions is, does too much of the game flow through his hands, right? Like, does he rely too much on his puck skills to create? That's something that I've noticed, at least through Liga tape and to a lesser degree through the Holinka. David, do you have any thoughts on that? I know you've seen a ton of Kamel.
Yeah, I really like him. It took me a while to really appreciate his game. I had a lot of doubts at first, but he has pretty much everything Lassie described. It's just that it's the same thing with Wright. He's not really a creator for me, so he's not the one manipulate. He can do it at times, but he's not bringing big advantages for his team. He's really a connector, so he's all about finding open ice, and he receives passes there. He moves it quickly. He builds scoring chances. He's really smart about the game. It's just that, yeah, I don't think he's all that dynamic. So in terms of speed, both his skating and handling skills are above average, but in terms of really creating with those consistently, I haven't seen that. So for me, his scoring is going to depend on his teammates at the NHL level. But in terms of hockey sense and in terms of having above average skills and projecting very easily to the NHL, he makes a very good number 2 overall pick for me. That's where I have him.
And the production also.
Yeah,
so
it's a big
the production is very nice. Do we have anybody to throw into the ring for second overall?
Yeah, I've got a couple names there: Simon Nemec and David Jurasek. I think both those guys could be in the conversation. For me, they're both top 5 guys. We've been debating them like crazy on the Slack for a while now. I love Nemec. I see a lot of growth coming from him. I see a lot of growth just throughout the season. I think his floor is probably as high as anyone not named Shane Wright in the draft. Is that he just looks like he's going to be a easy bet to be a number 4 if things don't break right. And I think that he's got the mobility. I think he's got the calmness and the poise to his game at the pro level at 17 already. Even on his mistakes, you can see that like they're not glaring. He's playing against 30-year-olds that are coming flying down the wing, and sometimes he'll make a misstep on it. But the offensive creativity isn't as high as a player like Jurasek, who I think that is a lot of fun. He's more that unbridled enthusiasm that you like to see from a young player, even, playing top pro hockey. So I think both those guys, top 5 guys and could be right in the mix there for that number 2 spot.
Yeah, I would be pro Juracek of the two in that spot just because of the ceiling. I mean, once you're at second overall, right, you got to take swings, and
Yeah.
that would kind of dictate Juracek ahead of Nemec. Merrick, why don't you chime in since they're both from your region?
Yeah, sure. This is a big year for Slovak hockey. The last time a Slovak hockey or a Slovak player was drafted in the first round was, I think, in 2013 with Miro Dano. Both Nemec and Jiříček are really good players. Probably, like Cam said, Nemec is smart, poised, and calm under pressure. He's an all-around blue liner, and he excels at both ends of the ice, and his skating is really good. I still haven't seen any high-end skills in his game, but the way he controls the blue line and the way he's quarterbacking the power play is just amazing. But on the other hand, David Jiříček is a really exciting case for the Czech hockey. We haven't had such defenseman in a long time. He's a big, mobile, offensive-minded defenseman, very physical player. I mean, I really like his aggressive style of game. He has a great slap shot, which is kind of it's really accurate. I mean, it's really hard slap shot from the blue line. It also amazed me when he's rushing deep in the offensive zone. Few days ago when he was really good. He was also named a player of the game against Russia. It's really exciting to see both players for both countries who are ranked so high.
I just watched that game against Russia 2 days ago or something like that. That was an awesome game for him. That was at the Kaharla.
Yeah.
That's a high level event too, right? So that was impressive to see him step up and play so well there.
Yeah. I probably think it's only a mirror of his confidence, to play at this level at he's still only 17 years old. So
his defense is a pretty strong point for me. It's inconsistent right now, but his rush defense, he postures aggressively. He has four-way mobility, so he's very agile. He denies space super well. In zone, he has a strong gap. He's aware. He's very engaged. He feels like he cares about that facet of the game too. So yes, he has offense, but for me, I project him more as a almost shutdown defender with puck moving ability. Sometimes he tends to shoot at shin pads and he relies a lot on shot on the offense, and he misses some activations that he could be making. I think he's even stronger defensively as a projection than offensively for me. So if you combine our two evaluations, he's a very strong package.
He's so aggressive transitionally to the point where, it is like, it does mess him up sometimes, but the mobility that he has, he's able to, recover a lot of the errors a lot of the time. Like, I think like on the blue line, I saw some really good manipulation. Like in one play, he broke the high defender's ankles and then took a nice shot in the shot lane. I think his shot in general is like all downforce right now. Lacks some mechanics there, but he's super, super impressive. Like, I think he's better than Nemec right now, just in terms of upside, but that's kind of where I stand with them.
So do we go Kamel, Juracek, Nemec with the next three?
I would go
Savoy again.
And Savoy goes
Or does Savoy become a part of that conversation? Yeah.
He should
he
be.
definitely should be there.
Mitch, what's the newest update on Savoy? Like, is he in the doghouse or
he's turned a corner.
Okay.
He's really turned a corner in the last few weeks. I mean, it's reflected in the production, but again, I guess the production is a little bit misleading because while he is the leading scorer in the WHL, he is not particularly close to the leading even strength scorer. He's getting a lot of points in the power play, a lot of kind of secondary assists, but in general, we've seen a lot more aggression from him with the puck, trying to make plays. He's not simply just defaulting to his teammates. And I mean, and with that, you get a very diverse player in terms of skill. The skating, particularly the stride, has really improved, but we're also talking about a player who could be one of the best shooters mechanically in the draft. He can shoot it off the pass too. He's an exceptional stick handler, passer. It's just a matter of putting him in position where he's going to be more of a play driver rather than just a guy who's going to link plays together. So we can either stick him at the end of there, or I'm not comfortable putting him over Kemmel just because of the reviews that we've got on him. I can see him at 3-2, go between them. Really, it comes down to I think both Juracek and Nemec, they're pretty much slam dunk middle pairing guys in the NHL with the potential to become more. And with Savoy, I think, he's definitely going to be an NHL player like them. He's definitely a middle six guy. The question is he going to become a dynamic enough skater? Is he going to become manipulative enough to become that true top line forward? And I think the odds of him getting there right now are probably a little bit lower than, say, Juracek becoming a number 2.